Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's just started off Monday. It's TGIM, thank goodness, Monday. We've right off the bat. I mean, on Friday it was a real surprise. After the markets closed, there was release of more information that they did more swaps for Switzerland again. So we saw the Swiss now taking another 6.3 billion in swaps. So they, you had the 3.1 and now you have the 6.3. It's like almost $10 billion being borrowed in swaps to the National Bank of Switzerland, and you gotta wonder what is that all about in the end result. In other words, a swap is basically I take this and I swap it for that, and then sooner or later the swap comes back to me, and it's kind of it's like a bond in a sense, or it's some type of hedge, and then what happens is it decays down to a point where you've made your money, that type of thing, and the end result is that it's like, wow, what is going on? We got the dollar index up right there. Let's do this instead. I'm heading over there now to see where the Swiss is at. Little white page there. We'll see. I should have opened it up a few seconds earlier, but we'll get it opened up and take a look and see. Over here on J4X, real quick, we'll take a peek. You can see on the dollar index, it's trying to lift up, just a little bit. At the same time, the green lines are heading down. And let's get it up on J4X there. Let's see, where's it at? Right. And there's the Swiss. The Swiss is trading over par. So that pressure that's basically going after the product is very clear. It's happening. In other words, there's no dodging it. Let's see if we get there. You go. There's the euro. You see the euro's up a little bit and firm today. It's trying to push its way up a little bit more. A couple days now to buy. Let's see if we can find the Swiss. Right there. Not yet. Hasn't loaded in yet. See how the cable looks. Nothing looks there either. All right. So, in the end result is that's what we really are seeing. Is we're seeing there's the S&P 500. What we're seeing is we're seeing that pressure on the dollar Swiss pairs trade, and let me get the chat line up too. There we are. And no, we don't want that loud voice. So, what we're really looking for here is we're looking for the logic to it all in the end. I guess trying to understand. I guess what it really comes down to is that the financial system is being squeezed. In other words, there's a heavy demand of dollars, and because of that heavy demand of dollars, they have to be cleared. There's people need to position to trade out of it or in it, or deliver, that type of thing. All the basics, the basic mechanics. And in this case here, I think it has something to do with combined with the inflation and the Credit Suisse situation, where we heard a couple weeks ago now that there's talk that there's an $8 billion margin call coming in on Credit Suisse down the road, maybe in 23 or going into 24. So they're probably trying to move ahead of it, get it done now, buy their way out of it and get away from the problem so that they can start to grow again. And that's usually I know that it seems simplistic, but that is usually the answer to it all. Is when a company that can survives, they want to get all that stuff behind them so they can get going, moving again, moving in the right direction. And so that's probably what we're really feeling and seeing, is that they're probably trying to resolve the big margin call that's going to occur with the Swiss bank itself, the commercial bank, Credit Suisse. And I'm just assuming that's the mechanics of it all. So let's see if we can see what our thing shows here. Why don't I see it? there's that's something. The Turkish lira. I should have opened this up a little bit sooner. It's loading a little slow this morning. There's the dollar CAD. And let's see. There's the yen. Oh, they're all slow, moving slow. Maybe if I close this, maybe it'll help. And that's pretty much the magic of it all. And that is that we're seeing these situations where there just seems to be a giant squeeze on dollars. They need them, to deliver. And hard to believe with all the dollars floating around in the world that they don't have them. I don't know. It always tells us. I can say this: during the last administration, they made it very clear every quarter, every 3 months, where the currency was compared to other currencies, and if they considered them to be manipulated or not manipulated. I mean, boy, talk about trying to define something in this era. It seemed, as far as I'm concerned, they're all manipulated. But they actually had a formula, and they would talk about it. And Mnuchin would come out. That was the Secretary of Treasury at the time, and he would say, he would name companies that or countries that are manipulating their currency versus those that are not. And it was very well organized. And as time went on, less people were defined as manipulating, which was obviously pretty positive. Huh? Hey, Robin. So, at this juncture, let's see what we have. Let's see if we can reopen it again. All right, we're going to do this. We're going to close this and reopen it again. There we go. We'll give it a few seconds, let it digest it, and then we'll reopen it again. How about that? Can you hear me, Robin? Yo, yo, yo. How about that? Can you hear me? It's yo, yo, yo. So, they did it again. They lent more swaps to Switzerland on Friday. So I'm just trying to guesstimate what that's all about. Let's see if we can reopen this now. Let's see what this does. See if this opens it up. There's the dollar Turkish lira. That's who I can see. That's right there. Anyhow, going over to the J4X again. Just move that over like that. Pull this out like so. Little technical difficulty on a Monday. And we'll go take a look at it through the euro. See how's that's looking. And there it is right there. Euro's been trying to lift up for the last couple days. Interesting, and that alone is very good as far as I'm concerned. Just to see that type of positive action. Would like to see more and more, selling of dollars. Nothing there. Nothing's loading. So, the currencies themselves have been firm. We're seeing, the euro try to lift. We're seeing the British pound start to lift. We're seeing the Swiss not lifting. It's losing value. But again, that's that problem that's going on over there. And then it sounds. I've never seen such confusion in Great Britain. They're trying to come up with a solution, and they've changed the head of the exchequer last week, and so forth. And we're thinking that they're going to try to move towards lowering rates. They're going to figure something out. I know that much. She's made an announcement, the Prime Minister, that they're looking into it, and that with the new exchequer chair, I think that's their objective is to lower rates. You can't keep on increasing rates and pretend that you're lowering them. Mr. Biden's what's he called? The Inflation Act. He keeps on telling everybody that it's going to cut back in inflation when it's not designed to cut on inflation. But anyway, that's what's really going on out of this whole situation, is that they need to. None of them are loading up. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just close it and start over again. We're not going to lose anything. There we are. We'll do that, see what goes on. We'll get this thing back and running. The British pound is begging to get its act together, and they want to lower rates, and they want to, start to grow the economy. And they had to actually fire the past exchequer, the head of their central bank, a couple days ago, just to get this thing moving forward, because he was against the idea. I'm always a little confused with this command and control economy thing that they're always talking about. That really does surprise me. I don't understand it, but they seem to want to, they just seem to want to be a part of it of some form. I don't know. It's just an odd era where we're seeing that stuff. All right, let's see if we can get this thing to open again. Okay, it's doing its little circly thing. It should be loading. Let's see. There we go. We're starting to load up now. Yay. Had it running fine this morning, and then I closed a few things and was doing something else, and we came back to it. I should have opened it up a half hour ago instead of 3 minutes before the webinar. I get spoiled that these things work so well, It's loading up now. I can see it. And so there we go. And so when we look at the dollar itself, it is staying steady and firm, and we're not. Let's close this. There we go. There we are. And let's try opening that up. Now we'll get it to go. There we go. There we are. So let's put the Swiss up there. And gave us the Turkish lira real quick. Why don't we? It's loading. There's the British pound. You see here 3 days in a buy right there. It's trying to get into the weekly buy this week right there. I don't think we know the story yet, but I feel, in other words, I feel very comfortable believing that they are going to find ways to cut taxes. They're going to find ways to stimulate the economy in a meaningful way, not an expensive way, and and basically open up the markets. And when you do that, that usually makes things grow. And as you can see right there, there's the British pound. Let's take a look at it over here. And you see 3 days of the green bars. Same situation over here with the dots. You see it's climbing up. And we are flirting with the weekly buy. It is pressuring itself slowly and steadily towards getting back into the binder. Now let's fix that too a little bit. Style. Let's make that. What is that? That should be white, and that should be a histogram. And this should be green. There we are. And so you can see this thing's trying to climb up. It's trying to get through the zero line this week to start off the week, and that's a positive. You know, I mean, I kind of like, just as much as we thought. I saw gold this morning up like $14. As much as I think that this time of the year they're going to start to find ways to bottom the metals complex, I think at the same time they're going to find ways to sell the dollar. Now, I don't expect to see massive selling, but I do expect to see some selling and some adjustments to start to see the end of the, preparations for the end of the year and the change of government and so forth. Let's just save that. Save. And there's the cable. Cable's a couple days also. Not cable, I'm sorry. There's the euro. A couple days also in a buy. And the weekly is trying to pierce itself up. Let's fix that too. There we are. File, save, workspace. Let's fix that too. Make that green. And make that white. There we are. And as you can see here, a couple days in a buy. Let's save that. You can see the echo, or the little green, the little slightly blue dash line is doing its best to lift up and try to hold on to at the same time. So we're seeing that pressure all across the board, and would be nice to see. Oh, what it says, there goes 47. Can you look at the S&P 500 and the Nikkei? Sure, most definitely. Let's take a look at it. Now the S&P's in a daily buy for, this is the third day at this point, so it's looking pretty good. For the Nikkei, last we looked when we saw the Nikkei, it was
disconnected.
What's it mean? Disconnected. Connected. Okay, here we go. And there's the S&P. You can see it's lifting up. It's been acting strong all morning long. Supposedly, the story was, when I first got up, I mean, it was firm. It was very firm. It was up like 150, 200 points on the Dow. The S&Ps were up like about 35 or something like that. But supposedly, when the London opened up, it really put a charge into the equities markets overall across the planet. So you can see here it's looking very firm. You can see the weekly is struggling, but at least it's starting to show some life to it at this point. And let's take a look at the Nikkei. And there's the Nikkei doing the same exact thing. You can see the strength here for the last couple of days. And you can see it's trying to head up into the buy. I mean, they've really taken down a lot of this stuff. Azaz, how you doing? I think it's a positive look to it. I mean, the equity markets look like they're trying to lift. We had a... let me see if I can show you something. I'm going to show you something I posted on my LinkedIn. Let's see, where's it at? Is it here? No. I'll just take the picture itself and open it up. Let's see, short. Here it is right there. And this is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And what we had 3 days in a row of inside outside days, which is just very rare that occurs at major lows and major tops, things like that, over the last 5 decades. Um, that I've measured it. I back tested it back to the 1920s, and it's really impressive. Here we go. There it is, right there. Look at that, which is very unique. Is that big enough? See if we can make that bigger. There we are. So you see where that gray box is, right here, and we had 3 inside or outside days combined together. And that could be a real sign that we're going to get some type of pop out of this market. This might be the beginning of some type of bottom. Again, I've been saying, for a long time, I expect to see positiveness out of this area, this time frame. Late October going into November. Markets anticipating a change of government, a lot less irresponsibility, possibly opening up the oil industry again in the United States, where we become a global player again, where we dominate and we become the swing producer. There's a lot of opportunity out there to happen. Oh, no complaints, Azaz. Oh, no complaints. Just kind of getting used to Monday morning. Looking at the charts. There's no. Probably the biggest surprise, I don't know if you heard me say it a little while ago, was the swaps that they've been doing with the Federal Reserve to the National Bank of Switzerland. That's really surprised me. But in this era, nothing can surprise me when it comes to what these central bankers are doing. Oh, no problem, 47. Makes sense to you or what? I mean, you can see there, they're trying to lift these stock indices. There's no doubt about that. And you can see here, this is the 4th day for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It's been at a buy. It's holding up even. I heard over the last 2 weeks, there was a lot of desperation in the money managers community, hedge funds and so forth, and they were saying, what's the best thing we could do right now? And the opinion was buy industrials. Seriously. That was what it was, and that's why it's the best performer over the last year. Because when in doubt, buy industrials, because they're going to be able to raise prices. They're going to be a necessary need, that type of thing. Can you analyze gold? I think it's going to 15. Boy, it does feel like it sometimes, doesn't it? Let's minimize this. Put that back up on the screen. And here is gold. Right there. And they're trying to lift it. I mean, every time I turn around, it's up almost like what, $23 now, almost $24. We're in a daily buy for the last 2 days, right there. And we are, as we speak, we're flirting with the weekly buy. So we've been in a weekly sell all the way back in here, as you can see where the pink line is back there. And what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, and this is the 8th week, and it's climbing out of that. Maybe we're going to get this thing finally to go. We've been looking for this metals market to find a base in here and get going, because we think that dollars are going to be sold. We really do. We really think. I don't think the dollar is going to crash or anything, but I think dollars are going to be sold, and I think stocks are going to be bought. And so, I keep on seeing that as a positive scenario for the metals market and for the the energy market and so forth. Energies are down now more than anything else, is because of the lack of growth. Once we start to show growth, that's when you start to see buying. Little T again there. So Azaz, I hope that makes sense to you. Now, 1500. Let's take a look at it on J4X. Let's see, where's that at? Oh, there it is. I'm punching on the wrong thing. Okay, there it is. Let's take a look at it on J4X. And we'll put gold in there. I have my doubts that we're going to see 1500. And the last time we saw 1500 would be back in 2019. There we are, right there in that area there. So, I kind of I see where you would be looking at that and see if this breaks down here. I see the logic. I see your logic right there, and that is that this could be the base. I'm not too comfortable with the concept because I think that because of the inflation overall, I kind of think for that reason alone, I have my doubts that we're going to see below the 16s. But we've gotten down in here. We're in the 16s now. So you can see it there, 1667. But because of the inflation, I kind of think that it's going to be very hard for it to get down to 15. But we'll keep an eye on it. You never know. We've been in a weekly sell now. Where's it at? Let's just make this back to the normal size. But we have been in that right there, and you can see it in Chicago Quant right here. We've been in the 16s for months, off and on, bouncing from the 18s down to the high 16s and then back again and back and forth. And I kind of think that it wants to start to go up. This could be a bottom in it. I think it'd be a bottom in it. I think it's a bottoming area, especially if we can get into a weekly buy. That would be nice. We haven't seen. The last good weekly buy was back in here when it was in the 18 area. And it took us up to the 21 area, basically. So, if we get into this weekly buy this week, I think you have to start thinking more like it's going to go the other direction for the time being. I hope that helps out, Azaz. All right. Let's see now. From there, we drift over to, let's see, Let's put that back to there and shrink this back down again. Nope, that didn't do it. There it is. And there's the gold. And we should start to see it turn green here over the next couple hours. Whereas over here on Chicago Quant, we are, with no problem. We're already through the green. So the J4X will start to catch up. And let me put that bar in there too, like that. There we are. So it's been in the daily buy since Friday, right there. And now we have the weekly trying to turn up. Alrighty. From there we shoot back to, did we look at the euro? I think we did. The euro is, yes, we did. We looked at the euro. And there's the euro. So from there we move over to the, we can go Turkish lira. Take a look at that. There's the dollar Turkish lira. It is trying to lift up. And it's been in, where's the weekly at? Format, instruments. It's there. Let's put that in there. Insert, study. Where is it at? Right. Properties. Weekly. There we go. Okay, now that's odd. Both of them have appeared out of nowhere. There it is. And you can see here that the daily is trying to lift. We're seeing the most sloppiest, and we've been following the Turkish lira now for almost a decade. And we're seeing some of the thinnest trading we've ever seen in the product with these crazy lows and highs, and it swings in different directions. But you can see there, we're in a weekly buy now for 30 weeks. This thing has been just, finding ways to be on the upside out of it all from the 13s, and now we're back and forth in the 18.5, 19.5 area. From there, we slide over to the Euro Turkish Lira. Right there. You can see it's trying to get back into the weekly buy. You can see the daily is trying to get into its daily buy today. And you can see the lack of liquidity, again, in this product. Like many of the other products, we're real surprised in this particular pairs trade because it's on the doorstep of Europe. They do a lot of trading with Europe. And for the longest while, you could actually trust the Euro Turkish Lira as a good product to try to trade. But now things have gotten definitely panicky, I guess you could call it, or just incredibly thin and sloppy. I think I would go with thin and sloppy. You can see it's missing the volume that it had no more than a couple of weeks ago. It really has become, there's very thin markets, which is not a positive thing. You never want that. All right, from there we slide over to the Canadian. Right there. You see the Canadian. Oops. There we go. Let's fix that style-wise. There we are. You can see here we are pushing back down again in the sell, which would make me wonder, are we seeing energies starting to lift up? So let's take a look at the energies over on J4X. You see it trading at 85. You can see, 5 days of red there. Let's take a look at it over here. We're looking at December gold this morning as a front month. So you can see right here, it is plus for the day. It's up a dollar, almost a dollar. And that would make sense why we saw Canadian heading down. In other words, it's gaining against the dollar. That's the normal recipe to this whole action. But, sometimes it can get really sloppy. At the same time, you can see we are flirting with the weekly buy. And went into a weekly sell last week in the front month crude oil contract, and it's now flirting to get back into the buy. All right, and from there we slide over to gold, and since we're seeing so much strength in the gold, and it's up $22 to almost $23, we assume pretty instantly that the dollar rand should be reflecting a little weakness in there. Oh yeah. I saw it. Where did it disappear on us? Not there, not there, not there, not there, not there, not there, not there. Huh. All right, let's try adding one. And that will be the USD ZAR. Oh, wrong keyboard. USD right there, ZAR. Right. Now where is instruments. It's there. Where's the other one? Let's just insert, do an insert indicator. Let's see. Oh, it looks like it's down below. Maybe I need to just do the little circly thing. Huh. All right, let's just insert one in there. It did that again, didn't it? Okay, so what we do is that one's good, and we'll get rid of this one. And let's move that up. So we see here it's doing exactly what it should be doing. It's trying to move down. You know, when it's a dollar South African Rand pairs trade. So you can see here it's playing with the daily sell as we speak. The weekly's been in that weekly buy now for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the 9th week. We'll see if they break that down. We start to see that thing start to dip in the same fashion. Let's put gold right there. And that should start to shift soon. And then obviously when we look at it through Chicago Quant, you can see the gold is up. Where is it up now? It's up $22.10. So it's lost about $1. That's about it. But it's acting very firm, very solid, and the metals complex is trying to find a bottom in here. All right, from here we slide over to let's see, we go to the yen. Let's check out the yen. Right there. And let's just widen that out a little bit more for you. Where's that button at? There it is right there. And fix that color situation too. Style. There we are. And that should be a histogram, like so. And then this one will be the green. Okay, let's fix that again. There we are. And you can see that strength is still there. And this is the yen, and the yen keeps on finding ways to go higher. You can see it there. It's taking out the 48s now, heading for 49. We talked about this last week and the week before, figuring that this thing wants to go find the maybe the 50s in this thing. I'm not sure what's going on exactly, more than the pressure of inflation and the lack of liquidity, that type of thing. That could literally, if we're seeing them do swaps with the National Bank of Switzerland, who else is having problems and we're not even hearing about it? They do a good job of hiding this information. So, we'll keep our eyes out and see if they start doing swaps with Japan. More than likely so. Especially when Japan keeps about $1 trillion parked here in the United States all the time as a backup. They're our largest foreign bondholder. And the largest bondholder in the world in American bonds are Americans. We control almost 50% of all the bonds in the world. All right, let's save that. And let's drift over to the last of the last, and that is south of the border, the Mexican peso. Where is it? We had a little technical difficulty this week. We'll put it right there. USD Mexican peso right there. We'll do the same thing right there. USD Mexican peso. And we are flirting with that, bottom area. The 1980. Matter of fact, 21. We'll have to reset those lines too, but at least we got this reset. Now let's fix this bottom one. Let's fix both of these. That should be white. That should be green. And that should be blue dashed. You can see there, it's trying to lift up the last day or two, trying to hold some strength in here. The support line, let's see, where's it? Let's put it in. And when we contract this, let's contract this up. Let's put that in there. Where's it at? Right. There we are. There it is right there. Let's widen that out. We went up and played with the 50 there. Now we're back underneath the 0.23. And you can see on the weekly, so we fix this too. And that one, green like so, green. There we are. And there you can see the weekly is breaking down this week. We are just underneath it right there. But I think we're going to still hold that range. I think there's going to be some strength in the dollar in the end result. So, I'm sorry, a strength in the Mexican peso against the dollar, that is. I really think the dollars are going to be sold. I think that's where we stand. All right. That pretty much closes out our currency situation. We can do this. We can save that. Save workspace as. There we are. Yes. Now let's shoot over to the metals complex and finish that off at the same time. And there's the gold. So let's take a look at silver. There's silver. Silver's doing the same thing. Lots of strength. Definitely a lot of strength in there. We're looking at, it's up about 70 cents today. That's pretty good. And you can see we're trying to climb back into the daily buy as we speak. And we slid into that weekly sell last week. And maybe by the end of this week, they get that thing right back into the weekly buy again. And that would be nice. And we would love to see platinum show that type of life also at the same time, where they start to buy the platinum again. Let's go check the platinum out. Also, let's look at copper. Now that the Party Congress is coming to an end. Let's remove that and move that over. Like so. That's what it is. 3 days in a buy. And you can see the weekly is trying to lift up in here. Let's just save that. Now let's take a look at platinum. Supposed to be, I think we're supposed to be looking at, let's try that. Let's activate it, and then let's put the April platinum in there. There we go. And it's acting pretty well there too. And you can see it's trying to lift itself out of this action. It's trying. And we got the daily trying to pierce up through with no problem. This is the third day. That move we had a couple days ago is really starting to show up now. We just need the weekly to turn itself up. And once we see that turn up, then we think that we're going to see, a real good buy. We need the platinum to get into the weekly buy this week. If all the other metals start to head there, that's great. But we need the platinum to lead this. And we'll keep an eye on that, see what kind of action we get out of the platinum situation. And as we showed you a few seconds ago, copper is showing good life in it right now. We figured it after the party Congress was over with. We figured that they would start to show some life in that. Now we just need the weekly to start joining into this battle. Then let's shoot over to oil. The front month now is December, and as you can see, it's still holding up pretty well. It's up $1. No, it's up, 98 cents. Now it's up $1. So we're just slowly, humming away on the firm side of the energy sector. Let's put Brent up on the screen there too. You can see that right there. Brent is in the 92s again, which is really nice. You can see the green line is trying to pierce right there, so we got some buying going on. And you can see here on Chicago side of it, we are flirting with the weekly buy. So all this is good stuff. All right. From there, let's drift over to the natural gas. There's nat gas right there, and there, this morning it was flirting with it. Now it's stopped. Was trying to get up into a buy. It's been in a daily sell for about a week and a half now, and we've been in that weekly sell now for 6 weeks. And more than that, I am totally curious to see where. Let's see, what's that trading? And that's in the 6.4 area now. Let's just put it up on J4X real quick. More than that is that energy company keeps on coming out with statements like, we believe we can satisfy all of Europe's energy needs for the winter. Someone would be smart to do that. There's no doubt about that. I mean, they're buyers, they're willing, and they've got equity, and it's like, wow, maybe this is going to be something good there. All right, so what are we looking at for here on J4X? We got the Brent. Oh, I know it is. We want to go to the natural gas right there. You can see it's in the fives now. On the, I guess what are we looking at? We're looking at December contract, so it's got some premium to it. But you can see there, this is the spot, which is still November, and you can see that pressure on it. It's below 6 now, trading at 596. Offers 599,294s are bid for. So this thing is falling underneath the $6 area. I'm looking for, let's see if we're under $22 on the Spanish energy company. Let's see, where are you at? Right there. Now it's bounced back up again. We've gone from 22.5 back to 23.5. We'll keep some eyes on that, but we are a little disappointed. We were hoping that they were going to start finding ways to bring this thing down. All right. Now, from the energy sector, I guess we're pretty much done. So now let's just take a quick look at the stock indices. And all we're seeing is strength, strength, and more strength. So right now we're looking at, there's the S&P 500, and it is up 61 points today. That's a lot. That's a lot of push. And you can see The weekly is trying to lift up. We got a little bit more work to do over the next couple days. And then we go to the Tech 100 right here. Same situation in a daily buy for a couple days, 3 days now. And the weekly is trying to get into the groove on the upside there. Then we, as we showed you the S&P, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the idea that we had three volatility signals, red and green type of thing. You can see it here. We are through the weekly, right there. We are through the weekly on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It's reaching for it, and it's 4 days in a daily buy compared to 3 and 2. So we're seeing some real aggressive action over on the equity market. And as we speak, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up like almost 400 points. So we're seeing some really, we're really starting to see some real push. All right. Let's take a look at, do we have the Russell? I guess we have the Russell in there. Let's check the Russell out too. Let's shoot, and no, let's go over to Bitcoin. I just want to see what Bitcoin's doing. Right there. Now, where'd the weekly go? A daily buy for 3 days. All right, let's see. Let's find the weekly. I don't understand why we lost the weekly data, but we'll go after that now. Properties. We'll have to go reload that data too and see what we can do with that. All right, that does it. And it wouldn't surprise me by tomorrow I'll have this filled in and we'll figure that out. I'll fill it in after this webinar. But I'm wondering what the Bitcoin starts to join in, and we got the Dow above the weekly number already. We're watching NQs and so forth. We've seen Nikkei trying to lift up. So what should we title today's webinar? What was today's webinar? More swaps for Switzerland? That could be part of it. There's no doubt about it. But what it really comes down to is that money is trying to prop up in a world with a lack of dollars. They're really trying to, perk some of these products up, different pairs trades here and there. So we'll have to figure out a title for today. But I'm thinking that it'll probably have something to do with more swaps for Switzerland. All right, this is Doc from North America. Catch you all tomorrow, same time, same channel. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders. Be safe, be smart.